everyone, I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm the Buster.
And this week in Toku, we have more Lightning Collection news to talk about, the possible reveal of the new Kamen Rider designs, and the return of the greatest television show of all time. But before we get into all of that, Buster, how are you doing this week?
Surprisingly good despite missing Monday again.
Yeah, we're late again this week. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, but I got my Dragon Knight video finished. Finally, that's been like I've had that script ready for like a long while, and I haven't like recorded it until now. It was gonna be like a lot of things, but that's besides the point. But yeah, overall it's been a pretty fine week.
Yay! I don't know. I've been all right. A little scatterbrained. Today was definitely very all over the place, and I've been having trouble getting up on time for the last 2 days, so that's annoying. But, I'm here. I've got no fear, and there's plenty of Toku news to rear. That got away from me. I apologize. Should we dive right into the news then?
Yeah, let's just dive right into the news.
First things first, friggin' full trailer for Ultraman Trigger finally dropped after weeks of us going, maybe we'll get it next week. Maybe that's coming in a couple weeks. It's finally here, and it looks like an Ultraman show.
Yep, it certainly does. Actually, no, let me re-look at this trailer again. They showed this trailer at the little conference they had where they revealed like more toy info and the theme song. And it looks like surprise. I think it's set on Mars, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's something I've heard tossed around a couple times, which is an interesting idea. The main thing that really struck me is just how much footage there is of them in that command center, or I guess bridge set. I feel like we're going to be spending a lot of time in that place, potentially due to a certain virus.
Not even just that, but that's just how like Ultraman, Tiga, and the other shows like it, like Heisei and Showa shows, where there's a command base, you spend a lot of time in it with getting to know these characters and stuff. So that's just like part of being the new generation Tiga.
Okay, that makes sense, because again, I have very limited Ultraman experience, but from what I remember of the original Ultraman and Ultraman Z, which are I've also seen Neos in full. I've seen free Ultraman shows in full, and there's a good balance of set and on location stuff in those shows.
Yeah.
But
actually, something I forgot to notice is that they use the transformation device to actually shoot at monsters without becoming Ultraman. That's a pretty neat idea.
Yeah, that's a neat detail. I like how the transformation gimmick item is being presented so far. Feels very much like a cartridge you'd load into a laser pistol in some kind of sci-fi series, which makes a lot of sense for Ultraman. And I like a lot of the character relationships that we're seeing so far. Obviously, a lot of it I'm implying from body language because this trailer isn't subbed, but hey, we also got the announcement this week that the show will be simulcasted in English in pretty much the exact same way Ultraman Z was.
Yeah. For some reason Tsuburaya doesn't sub the trailers, but they do sub the episodes. I mean, it's better the episodes than the trailers, but still an odd detail. You'd think you want to get people, especially since you're putting a trailer on the YouTube channel with English wording,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah, that's about it. It's a great trailer. Very excited to see, it's a pretty typical Ultraman trailer. They like doing these 5-minute showcases of all the forms and characters you'll see in the first half.
And Mao is doing a Mao-ass voice for that alien character.
Right now, I didn't really listen to it. I've been mainly looking at the visuals.
It's very much just the same kind of thing she does for a lot of characters when she voices for animation and stuff like that, where she just pitches it up a little bit. Sounds a lot like Raptor, I think would be a good comparison. Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing. Raptor had a great voice.
Speaking of her, isn't that her character getting a spinoff?
Yeah. Marlu Dex is going to be a spinoff similar to the oh god, what was the name of it? There was a spinoff show for the robot in Ultraman Z. What was that called?
Sevenger Fight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to the Sevenger Fights thing.
Yeah. And then we're also getting another voice drama. Although I'm not like the Zet voice drama didn't get subbed, so
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like,
not. I'm not super interested in the voice dramas, and that goes for even stuff that's originally in English. Like I've listened to maybe 2 Doctor Who audio dramas, and that's enough for me.
well, there's actually like these the Ultraman visualizers they put on the YouTube channel. Not the visuals. Like I was saying, the voice dramas they put visuals like character poses and stuff like YouTube kind of like avatar like kind of stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So like there's like some visual thing to get attached to, not you don't just listen to it and stuff. I'm not sure if we're gonna cover them. Depends if they get subbed or not.
Yeah, if it gets subbed, we'll at least try it. That's kind of the rule with everything current right now on this show.
Yeah. And, like at
Um,
very least we can give them brief mentions so we can like get a bit more like a full grasp on Trigger.
yeah. But then we also got the announcement that Tsuburaya is doing a limited Ultraman 55th anniversary cafe in Japan, which will feature items based off of the original Ultraman, Ultraman Tiga, and Ultraman Trigger.
For some reason
Um,
the like for some reason the website we're looking at this on says Taiga when it's clearly Tiga.
may just be a spelling error there.
Yeah, although they have it multiple times, so I'm a bit like, you know.
Yeah, that is weird. Well, how are you feeling about the idea of an Ultraman cafe and some of these menu items they show here?
They
Which,
sure look like food.
yeah, they remind me a lot of the Kamen Rider the Diner items, where it's like that looks neat. I'll never get to try it.
Yep. Can we move on? I got nothing else to say. It just looks like food.
That looks like food. That's the quote for this episode. I just decided.
Dang.
Let's move on to some figure announcements. First off, we got the announcement of the final Metsubo Jinrai member making their debut in SH Figuarts. Kamen Rider Ikazuchi will be getting a premium Bandai web exclusive SH Figuarts release, and I think it looks pretty spiffy, pretty accurate to the suits. Granted, it's not the most original or amazing looking suit in Zero One, but it fits in nicely amongst all the other Zero One riders and everything you'd want this figure to come with. Mainly a couple alternate hands and the sword weapons. It's all there, and it's all there for the collar pulling premium Bandai price, shall we say?
Yeah. This kind of brings me to a rant about Ikazuchi. How I wish it was Little Assassin, the original Dodo guy. Because he was legit the best part of Zero One's first arc. I feel like he was a big standout in that first arc, and I like he had a good end, but I kind of wish his end was about him becoming Ikazuchi instead of just another stronger monster. Because come on, that was right. That was maybe a plan, but they just decided to change it at the last minute.
Yeah, we rarely see it nowadays, but if they were to do like one of the quote unquote monster suits from Zero One, I think like he'd be the one to go for.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, I don't see him brought up a lot in Zero One discussion, but when when that show was airing, he was like the standout star of that show, and I still feel like he had one of the best arcs in that show, just even when it's all said and done.
Definitely something on my wish list. But then moving on from Bandai to Hasbro, we had a bit of a surprise Lightning Collection reveal this week, which is that we are getting a Pulse exclusive Power Rangers Lightning Collection Zeo Cogs 2-pack, which is basically representing both different versions of the cog from the show in the burgundy undersuit and the silver undersuit. And they're going to of course be fully articulated like all the Lightning Collection figures, and will come with a ton of accessories, most interestingly and notably alternate heads to represent when they would do their laser blast out of their eyes.
Oh yeah, I just noticed that. I don't like how this is a Pulse exclusive, because that just screams to me weird too. Like, I really wish they would at least make it like an exclusive to a store instead of just online, but I get it, online shopping's the future and all that. It also just kind of feels like this isn't MMPR, just throw it on the online store, and that just pisses me off.
I definitely agree with you in that aspect. Maybe not this is an MMPR in kind of like a disinterested tone, but maybe this is an MPR. We need to use this as a way to test the waters if non-MMPR stuff will sell.
Yeah, but
Like
I
that's
still feel
what.
like like putting it in like some stores would do better. But no, whatever.
But like I'm definitely interested in grabbing this. This will probably pop up at like my local toy store or maybe a GameStop eventually, and I'll definitely get it that way then. I didn't manage to get a pulse order in, just because I'm not ordering a lot of stuff right now anyway. But it's definitely something that interests me because I'm always up for more army builders no matter what line it is. Army builders are the bread and butter of anyone who's into action figure photography. So the more we get out of this line, the better, in my opinion. And there's plentiful options to choose from, and they may have gone for a more obvious one here, but I'm definitely interested in getting more down the line, specifically like Crybots, Terra Drones, X-Borgs, some.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Like actually, I just kind of find out we were just kind of talking about army builders a bit like a couple weeks ago. So that's
Yeah.
just
So look, a bit of a luck there, bit of figure fate, if you will.
yeah, good
Sh-
acronym.
yeah, shout outs to the Major Bros.
Dang it! Of course you had to steal it. Speaking of stealing,
Hey, it was a theming thing. I was segueing. That's exactly what I was doing. So how are we gonna talk about this? Because
okay,
Jesus.
okay. So I saw this on Twitter, and then I just decided, hey, Vac is in the waiting call for like I think it was a wrestling podcast,
Yeah,
and
I
I
was
just
sitting in the
decided
waiting for Boingo to show up because he had a thing around watching YouTube videos
basically
waiting for
just
him to
go
show up.
like,
And then
hey, Vac, I just came to tell you, go 10 years after is real,
and I'm
and I leave.
like,
So
what? What?
I saw, I should
Do,
put,
but it was the most now because shit to this day in Gokaiger that I get emotional just thinking about. Like there's certain moments from that show that just resonate with me so hard. And that's partially due to the fact that it was one of the first non-American Toku I checked out. But I think it's also just because I've studied that show so hard and I feel like I know it in and out. And that's why, because I just realized we didn't actually say what I was freaking out over. That's why I lost it so hard when it was announced that we are getting a Gokaiger 10 years after special next year, which will be titled 10 Gokaiger.
so like, are there gonna be like 4 additional castmates? Is 2 guys are gonna be there? Nope. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
let's have a guest spot from the freaking oh god, what's their name? The Goldstruker family. Let's just have
yeah.
them in there.
Yeah, maybe then we can get like what's her name? The Zox's sister, Flint, to like finally be a ranger or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Like that was one of the first things I tweeted right after it is if that motherfucker Zox doesn't get a cameo in this movie, I swear to God.
Yeah, he's like one of the best parts of Zenkaiger. And then again, everything's the best part of Zenkaiger, but we'll get there.
Yeah, but no, I'm super hyped for this. They released a little like 30-second trailer that showed little snippets of the cast as they're gonna look in the movie, and it's meant to be like, oh, it's they've been through some shit, they've been gone a while, and they're coming back like a little tougher and a little more grizzled. Especially exemplified by the fact that Marvelous has an eye patch now.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, let's fucking go. I'm ready.
Yeah, and of course, with a big season like Gokaiger getting a new project comes new to merchandise.
Yeah, there's going to be a Memorial Edition Mobirates, which will come with all 5 Gokaiger Ranger keys. It's basically going to be the Super Sentai version of a CSM Kamen Rider driver, where there's going to be additional buttons put on the Mobirates itself, so you can play background music from the show while you're Gokai changing, and you'll be able to play certain lines of dialogue from the show. And the keys have been modified to have a little button on the side so they'll automatically flip up like they do in the show. And what else? What else is there with this? Oh yeah, they're covering all the screw holes on this version, and it's going to come with a display stand.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, there will also be a set of Ranger keys in the same style as the Memorial Edition ones. That will be the Red Ranger from each of the previous 34 Sentai to Gokaiger, as well as Aka Red. And I believe there's also been some talk of there may be a big box set of all the Reds that precede Gokaiger.
I hope so, because we got I think Red Buster's already in here. No, is Red Buster in this? Because I swear we saw a Red Buster key being showcased.
We have everything up to I think we have full teams up to Kyoryuger. And then when the Gokaigers came back for those 2 episodes of Juoger, they did a set of Juoger Ranger keys and all the keys, the set of keys that the 4 Gokaigers used to turn into the 4 Sentais between them and Juoger.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you got a lot more to say because you're more Gokaiger fanboy than me. I mean, I still love the show, but you could probably spit an entire 2 podcasts about it.
I mean, there's so much to say about Gokaiger. I'm just really excited to see how this turns out. I definitely would love to get the Memorial Edition Mobirates and Ranger Key set, but it's just too out of my price range at the moment. So it's one of those things where it'll go on my wants list, and one day when I have a good financial statement and I'm drunk and have access to eBay, that'll happen. But
speaking of anniversaries,
yeah, we have one last news item this week, and it's potentially a very big one because Toei released the illustrated poster for Superhero Senki, which shows of course, the main heroes that are going to be interacting in the movie, which is Kamen Rider Saber and his cast and the Zenkaigers. But then a lot of other characters highlighted on it. Some familiar and some not so familiar, particularly in the upper center.
Let's actually break down some of the smaller, more noticeable details first before we get into the possible the big game changer here. First off, we don't get illustrated posters for these movies, so I'm glad we're getting one for the big anniversary one.
It's bit very generic looking. It's a bit like comic book, generic comic book cover looking, but it's still cool that it's illustrated.
Yeah. And, that's fine. We see but we actually see all the reds there. Gokai Red, Go Red, Maji Red, Boken Red, Gao Red, and Tyranno Ranger. Those are all related to Zenkaiger in some way. So that's actually very interesting. I wonder if their actors are going to show up. I at least know Go Aka Ranger is going to show up. Probably. And then we see some Kamen Riders. The one that stand out to me most specifically is Kamen Rider Black and Double. Why those two? They're getting spinoffs soon. They're promoting them here.
O's is interesting because he hasn't been in anything for a minute, and if any Kamen Rider is due for a 10 years after special at this point, it's him.
Yeah, he really won one last year, but then again, Heisei, I know you don't like Heisei Final. I loved Heisei Final. It's my favorite Rider movie next to Zeto. And I thought that was a great end for his story. But it'll be nice to see him again.
I mean, granted, he does have some of the best stuff in that movie.
Okay, yeah. And then we see Den-O, 2 Den-Os, one on the corner and one just the whole time of train with the Taros in the corner, just being Taroses.
Oh, he's not in that train. That's just all the Imagine on top of the train.
Yeah, the Taroses. Yeah, I find it funny. Yeah, just 2, they're both. That makes me curious if they somehow got Sato Taro again. I don't think they did, but when I was maybe it's just
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Kuga's also on the poster, which I don't think means anything. I would literally shit a brick if they got Joe Onigiri back for this fucking movie.
Yeah, but that would be a pretty big deal, if they got back for this one specifically. But he was also very much prominent, featured in Heisei Forever's marketing, so it's clear they're okay with using writers if the main actors aren't coming back. Also,
if anything, I think the characters that'll be coming back are the characters in the upper left.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's one more detail I want to point out. With Double, I'm not sure if they're gonna. I'm not sure if Ren Arikiyama or Shotaro gonna come back. I think this might be the time we're gonna see the voice actors for Futotante. That's just a theory.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and then upper right corner, we got Gio and 01, who are pretty prominently featured on this poster, assuming Gio is going to be the one who takes Decade's place as the crossover bridge. And
oh boy, I'm so excited about that.
Not a Gio fan?
a Geo fan.
Dang. I thought it was okay. But and then we got 01, where I think you're way more into.
Yeah, 01's a good boy. We like him.
Yeah. That's literally the opposite of some of my friends. But anyway, we also see some other Sentai. We got Shigeru from Kira Major. He's one of the best characters in Kira Major. Glad to see him. We got Doggy's counterpart, Shiaki from
Yay!
Zenkaiger. Raptor's coming back, and also actually we get two Key Rangers. Just realized we got both Raptor and forgot the dragon's name.
The chief, the commander man.
The Commander Man for Key Ranger, and then we got the big one. Two dinosaur-looking boys who are probably coming under Revice.
That's where you're going. Okay.
Because there's a rumor there's dinosaurs for Revice. That's a big rumor that's been going around.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of spoke over you for the listeners. People are assuming that these two characters in the upper center of the poster are Revice and his secondary.
Yes. And actually, I know there's this is just all rumors. Keep in mind, and so it looks like the dinosaur rumor is true. There's a rumor that his secondary is kind of like a stand character, like they both transform together, like they're dual protagonists. And I can actually see that rumor being true, because think about it: when a writer cameos in another movie, they just cameo by themselves. Like 01, just by themselves. Geo, just by themselves. No Gates or Vulcan. So unless this is so why would two suits be here? Are we getting dual protagonists for this series? Because
that would be interesting.
I think the only writer series that comes close to dual protagonists is Build.
I mean, it really depends on how you look at it. There's a lot of people who are very staunchly, no, there has to be a secondary, there has to be a main. But
I just realized if you look at, never mind.
There's that, and if you look at some early Heisei, Blade kind of has that going on with Blade and Garen. There's Knight and fucking Ryuki have that.
Yeah, good point. And also Dragon Knight even.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like these designs. I know that you said they're kind of Digimon looking. I don't care. They're great designs, honestly.
I mean, they're Digimon looking, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like I have to get a full look at the physical suits before I can make up my mind. As is, they look weird, but there have been weird Kamen Rider reveals a lot in the last few years, so it's not unprecedented.
Yeah, and I'm all for it. I love the little the teeth on both suits, especially on what seems to be the main rider's suit. That is such good, and I love how my prediction that Revice is gonna possibly be blue is coming true. It's blue and pink, which is even better.
I mean, speaking of blue and pink, I just said there have been weirder Kamen Rider reveals. It's kind of crazy to say this, but these guys look more like Kamen Riders than X8 did when he first debuted.
Yeah, dang. X8 was one of I didn't follow the news cycle for X8, but it was the first one I watched week to week. So I wasn't part of that whole is X8 a Kamen Rider discourse. But yeah, very excited. How both some people are speculating these are the villains of the movie. I don't think so. Even so, these are still really cool suits. So
would that be interesting? A way to introduce new characters, have them be the villains of a big crossover movie. And the actual show is them going for a redemption arc. Toei would never do that, but that idea just popped into my head.
That's an interesting idea. But this is pretty much gonna. I have full faith this is Revice, and I am very excited to see his story.
Yes. More Revice news next week, please, Shirakura-san.
Yes. I think if we don't get any Revice news in July, we're definitely getting Revice news by in mid-July. I bet you.
Yeah, we'll at least have a trailer by then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see how the series looks and who's writing it, because I know a big thing has been possibly getting Build's writer Shogo Muto back. So maybe
watch it be a total ass pull and just Inoue comes back.
Yeah, just Inoue. Finally, I get to do dinosaur.
Inoue is you got rid of me when Reiwa began, but me, Inoue, I've returned.
We never really got rid of Inoue. He just did a bunch of specials like Rider Time Ryuki and Decade vs. Geo.
Inoue's on the back burner right now. Inoue is never truly gone. He's most evil in the universe in that way.
Yeah, and he's doing the Kaisa manga. Speaking of just other evils in the universe. Kikai Senta Zenkaiger,
Whoa,
episode 16.
that was a segue. Okay.
I've just been tripping you up today. It's
Uh,
fun. But yeah,
uh,
that's all the news this week. Check the links for the other stuff. But Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, episode 16, bugged by magnets. My God, no,
I
that's
don't know if this
Sharpies.
was. I don't know if this was the best Zenkaiger episode in a while, but this was definitely the funniest Zenkaiger episode in a while.
Well, we keep saying that every podcast is in a while. What is in a while? A couple
That,
weeks?
that's why I said I don't know if it's the best. I'm trying to fucking break the chain.
Yeah. It's a funny episode, like a very funny episode. Just like the entire chasing of the key Kainoids just being chased, and also, honestly, the comedy. Like, for once, the comedy wasn't the highlight for me. It was the character building, and like Zenkaiger's been really good at character building. But I thought the stuff they did of Stacy this episode and Gege the bird, or like
Gage.
Gage the bird. Sorry, I'm just going. I didn't hear it pronounced. But Gage the bird, like the evil bird, was really cool stuff.
Hmm. Interesting that Gage is sort of playing like it seems like he just wants to keep the conquering scheme going as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like he's oiling a machine.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely we're getting the bird as the main villain, the final boss later
yeah,
on.
he's gonna transform into a big old rubber suit man at some point.
Yeah, or like he just big CGI monstrosity.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a like. Also, I love the speaking of like, I just because I like the character building a lot in this episode does not. This episode still delivered on good jokes, especially when like the villain does his first attack and then Kaiser comes in and he misses his cue. That was great.
Yeah. I also just love the design of the monster this week. Like this fucking massive magnetic dust mustache. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's great. What else? Honestly, I don't really got much to say other than this episode just did some good, cool stuff with Stacy and Kaito's relationship.
I mean, I
Like,
would be remiss if I didn't mention that Vroom made a freaking Terminator reference, and
oh
it
yeah,
was the best.
yeah, he did like the little like good luck, and then he did the thumbs up and like the under the sea of trash.
Hmm. There's a lot of great English moments in this episode too, like
Oh
when the
yeah,
freaking crocodile ship starts flying at them for the first time, and freaking Juren just goes, "Oh my god!"
yeah, that was great. Also, the entire there was another thing that made me laugh in this episode. I forgot what it was. I don't know.
I mean, freaking, what's the good bird's name?
Seichan.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Seichan
Seichan
being.
getting attached to like Zenkai's soul like abdomens or something.
Yeah, I might make that the thumbnail.
Yeah, like I
Uh,
like someone joked saying this is the Super Zenkaiser that's been rumored.
yeah. It also just like the whole having to transform with stuff stuck to you, like really made me flash back to that episode from Bokenger where he's wearing a sombrero while fighting.
Ah yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional, but it was just a great little like, oh yeah, it's sort of like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, I really don't got much else to say on this episode. It's just very solid. Probably the one that I have least to say so far. Any final thoughts, Vac, or
Um, there's no way Yachan could have made that parfait Stacy was eating from scratch. It was really exquisite and very complex looking. I'm very
she just built different?
I'm sure she imported it from Droopers or something.
Dang it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, I forgot to before we wrap. Like, Stacy and the grandma had a really good thing in this episode. So I'm wondering if like the like instead of Stacy and Kaito being brothers, they're still related, but like Stacy is the grandma's like son or something.
Time displacement?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, who
That'd be
knows?
interesting. Yachan has a whole past she's not telling us about. At some point in the show, she's just like, all right, I guess I got to get out the scrapbook.
Yeah, and actually, it does like well, we thought she was just gonna be like a silly comic relief character when she was first announced, but now I'm like seeing there's an actual story to her.
Yeah, she's been a solid mentor.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, fantastic episode all around. Zenkaiger continues to be one of the best Sentais in a while, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, Kara Major's been really good, but like, and I also like Rita Soldier, but I know not everyone likes Rita Soldier, but
It's also just funny because we don't have a real barometer to gauge it against. No pun intended. We have no barometer to gauge it against right now because, like, we had Dino Fury for a couple of weeks and then it went on hiatus. And then we had it for like a burst last week. And we had Girl Gun for a while there, but that was like polar opposite. We've not had a chance to have two shows going where it's like, this is great, but I like this.
Yeah, like a good comparison. Maybe when Trigger starts up, we'll finally
Yeah.
get those good comparison stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping Trigger and Revice are both good, so we can cover them continuously on the show.
Yeah, Trigger. Trigger. I know is going to be good. I feel like we should, even if it like does, even if it's somewhat below average, it's not going to be Girl Gun frustrating to the point where we're going to drop it.
Oh yeah, I'm not expecting anything Girl Gun level frustrating to come up again for a while. That's like a once every 5 years kind of bad.
Yeah, and Revice, I could see us dropping, but not like at least in the first, not in the first arc.
Yeah. So we only have one bit of older content to talk about this week, and that's just that like the Gokaiger 10 trailer got me so hyped that I went and downloaded because Overtime went and put up Blu-ray uploads of the first 5 episodes of their Gokaiger sub, and they actually went back and checked and retweaked a lot of the subs to be a little more accurate, given their updated knowledge of the Japanese language. So I downloaded that and I rewatched the first episode. And I mean, if you know my thoughts on Gokaiger, you know my thoughts on this first episode. It really hasn't changed. It's still an extremely solid pilot. Really gets you emotional in some places and gets you invested in the characters right off the bat. A lot of great little nods and respect to the history of Sentai, and just a solid start all around. I don't know if this rewatch is going to be a continuing trend, but yeah, figured I'd just go ahead and jot that down and chime in with it.
Yeah, Gokaiger's first episode is really good, although I think the second episode is where it confirmed it's something special.
Oh yeah, the second that whole that's good stuff. Oh, you're making me want to go watch that right now.
Yeah, it's like from what I've seen of Gokaiger, that's my favorite episode of Gokaiger.
How much of Gokaiger have you seen?
Around like 15, 17 episodes.
Oh, dude, you should totally try and finish it before 10 Gokaiger comes out.
I should. Like here's how I watched Gokaiger initially. I burned a bunch of episodes onto these DVDs. I only went up to episode 15 though.
Oh so. Wow. You know how I watched it?
Yes, Agent.
Facebook uploads of the TV Nihon subs.
Ooh.
Who listening to this podcast remembers watching Facebook uploads of Tokusatsu?
I only did YouTube uploads. I only did like when Tokuger was airing. I tried to follow through YouTube uploads, but I only made it past to when Zeto showed up.
Yeah, that was trying to watch Tokusatsu on YouTube before we had simulcasting with Ultraman was a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it for today.
Yeah. So, Buster, why don't you tell the good folks who you are and where they can find your stuff if you want them to?
What's up? I'm Buster Corp. I do video essays on Tokusatsu and other things Vac is not interested in. I recently did a Kamen Rider Dragon Knight analysis, and I think it's pretty cool, and you should check it out, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and where can they do that again?
The Buster Corp YouTube channel. And also follow me on Twitter at BusterBluey3, because I post funnies.
Yeah, no, you do.
Oh, I don't, but like...
Yeah, you do. Love yourself. Come on. I know you can do it.
Yeah.
All right. I am the Vacuuminator. I've been many things to many people on the YouTubes in the past, but currently I'm a classic style toy reviewer. By the time you're listening to this, I will have just posted my latest review, which is of the NECA Terminator 2 T1000 figure. So please go check that out if you haven't already. That will be at youtube.com/thevacuuminator, which is spelled THEVACUUMINATOR. I'm also on Twitter to chat at whenever you like. I am at The Vacuuminator, and I'm on Instagram posting action figure photography at _Vacuuminator. But before you go check out any of those links, please do me a favor and follow this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to it on. If you're listening to it on YouTube, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe, and ring that bell in order to enable notifications and get every Modular Media podcast as they come out. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at the Modular Media for updates on the show whenever we have them available. Also join our subreddit r/modular media. And if you ever want to call into the show, you can do so by clicking the message button on anchor.fm/this-week-in-toku. But that's going to do it for this week in Toku. We'll see you next week when we find out what happens that week in Tokusatsu.